Barton Finley checked his antique wristwatch for the third time, his jaw tightening with each passing minute. His blind date was now 15 minutes late. His 5-year-old daughter, Lily, sat across from him at the elegantly set table, coloring in the activity tablet the restaurant had thoughtfully provided. The establishment, aptly named Convergence, was one of the most exclusive multi-species dining venues on Nexus Station. This was a mistake. The whole thing was a mistake. He shouldn't have let his sister talk him into this blind date. He definitely shouldn't have agreed to bring Lily along, even though Audra had insisted that any woman worth dating should be comfortable meeting his daughter early on. And he absolutely shouldn't be sitting in one of the station's finest restaurants, feeling like a fool as the minutes ticked by. "Daddy, can we order now?" Lily asked, looking up from her coloring. Her blonde hair was neatly tied back with a small blue ribbon that matched her dress. "Soon, sweetheart, we're waiting for someone," Barton replied, glancing again at the restaurant entrance. The maitre d', a 7ft tall Galaxian with silvery skin, was greeting other patrons, but there was no sign of his date. "The lady," Lily's bright blue eyes sparkled with curiosity. "Yes, the lady," Barton confirmed with a sigh, "though I'm starting to think she's not coming." At 36, Barton had been a widower for 3 years. His wife, Eliza, had died during a shuttle accident when Lily was 2, and Barton had thrown himself into being both father and mother while maintaining his carpentry business. He had developed quite a reputation on Nexus Station for his handcrafted wooden furniture, a rarity in a time when most items were mass-produced by fabricators. The honest work of shaping raw timber with his hands had kept him grounded through his grief, and the sweet smell of sawdust had become a comfort to both him and Lily. Dating had been the furthest thing from his mind until his sister had staged what she called an intervention, insisting he needed to start living again. "Lily needs a mother figure," Audra had argued, "and you need a life outside of work and parenting." So here he was, waiting for a woman named Shakira, who his sister claimed was perfect for him, despite being 20 minutes late now. Barton signaled for a server, a sleek service droid that glided smoothly between the tables. "I think we're going to go ahead and order," Barton began. "I'm so sorry I'm late," a melodious voice interrupted him. "The transport tube had a malfunction, and then I couldn't navigate through the mercantile district because of a Paxillian cultural parade, and I should have left earlier, but I was nervous and kept changing my scales, and I'm rambling, which I do when I'm nervous, so I'm just going to stop talking now." Barton looked up to see a striking female draconian. She stood about 58 with iridescent blue-gray scales covering most of her body, except for her face, which had more delicate, almost pearlescent features. 2 elegant curved horns extended from her temples, adorned with what appeared to be handcrafted silver caps. Most notably, she had a pair of folded wings behind her shoulders, deep red membranes stretched over a delicate bone structure. She wore a fitted crimson dress that complemented her wings and had been clearly designed to accommodate them. A simple pendant hung at her neck, and she clutched a small silver purse like it was a lifeline. "Shakira, I presume," Barton stood, his irritation fatting slightly at her obvious mortification. "Yes, hello, I'm so sorry for being late. You must think I'm completely disorganized and rude." Her eyes, a striking amber color with vertical pupils, darted nervously between Barton and Lily. "It's fine. Station traffic is unpredictable," Barton said, gesturing for her to take a seat. "Thank you for being understanding. I promise I'm not usually late. Well, sometimes I'm late, but not usually this late," she caught herself. "And I'm doing the rambling thing again." Lily had been watching this exchange with unabashed interest. "You talk a lot," she observed with the blunt honesty of a 5-year-old. Shakira looked down at Lily and smiled, revealing slightly pointed teeth. "I do, especially when I'm nervous. You must be Lily, right?" "Uh-huh, I'm 5. Lily held up 5 fingers proudly. "This is my coloring tablet. Do you want to see?" "I'd love to." Shakira sat down and genuinely examined Lily's digital artwork, asking about her color choices and commenting on her technique. "I love how you made the stars different colors instead of just white. That's really creative." Barton found himself relaxing slightly as he watched them interact. The server took their orders and conversation began, though it was stilted at first. Barton asked the standard first date questions, and Shakira answered, but he could feel himself remaining guarded, looking for reasons this wouldn't work. Shakira was a xenobiologist. She specialized in cross-species medicine at the station's central hospital. She lived alone in a modest apartment in the station's East Ring. She enjoyed stellar cartography, cultivating rare plants, and zero-gravity swimming. She'd never been married and didn't have children of her own. All perfectly pleasant, all perfectly boring. Nothing wrong with her, but also nothing that made Barton think this was worth pursuing. He was already composing his polite exit speech in his head when Lily knocked over her glass of blue Arcturan berry juice. The glass tipped over, sending vibrant blue liquid cascading across the white tablecloth directly toward Shakira's side of the table. Barton reached for napkins, mentally cursing the situation, but Shakira was faster. With reflexes he hadn't expected, she caught most of the spill in midair with a small device she pulled from her purse, some kind of portable force field generator that created a bubble around the liquid. "Containment field," she explained with a smile as the blue juice hovered in a wobbly sphere above the table. "Standard emergency gear for xenobiologists. You never know when you'll need to contain a sample or a spill." With her other hand, she tapped a control on the table to summon the server. "Could we get a receptacle, please?" she asked politely. The droid quickly provided a container, and Shakira carefully maneuvered the contained liquid into it. "I'm sorry," Lily said, her eyes welling with tears. She was in a phase where mistakes felt catastrophic to her. "Hey, no worries," Shakira said, crouching down beside Lily's chair once the juice was safely disposed of. "Accidents happen all the time. Last week, I knocked over a whole container of Cerovian phosphorescent algae in the lab. The algae lived, but everything in the lab glowed green for 3 days, including me." Lily sniffled but smiled. "Did you look like a nightlight?" "Exactly like a nightlight." Shakira laughed, the sound like gentle chimes. "My colleagues called me glowworm for a week. Blue juice on a table, that's nothing." As Shakira helped clean up the remaining drops of the spill, chatting easily with Lily, Barton found himself reassessing the draconian woman. The genuine kindness she showed his daughter, the quick thinking, the self-deprecating humor, that mattered more than any resume of accomplishments. Their food arrived and the conversation became easier. Shakira told stories about her patients, fascinating but age-appropriate anecdotes that showed she genuinely loved her work. She asked Barton about his carpentry, showing surprise and genuine interest when he mentioned working with actual earthwood. "Real wood is so rare now," she said with awe. "Most species only ever see synthetic replicas. You must be very skilled." "Daddy made my bed," Lily announced proudly. "It looks like a spaceship, and he reads me the Stellar Princess stories every night." "Oh, I love that series," Shakira said enthusiastically. "Princess Celeste traveling between stars while everyone thinks she's just having diplomatic meetings. What's not to love?" Lily beamed at finding someone who knew her favorite books. They spent 5 minutes discussing the various adventures and whether the princess's disguise was actually any good. Barton realized he was smiling. Really smiling, not the polite social smile he'd been wearing earlier. After dinner, as they were walking out of the restaurant, Lily suddenly said, "Daddy, I need to use the bathroom." "Of course, sweetheart, let's find it." Barton looked around the unfamiliar establishment. "I can take her if you'd like," Shakira offered, "if you're comfortable with that. Sometimes interspecies facilities can be confusing, and I'm familiar with this restaurant." Barton hesitated, then nodded. It was a test of sorts, and he knew it. "Lily, is that okay with you?" Lily took Shakira's scaled hand without hesitation. "Okay, come on, Miss Shakira." They disappeared toward the restrooms, and Barton waited in the elegant hallway, checking his comm device and thinking about the evening. It hadn't been what he expected. Shakira wasn't the polished, perfect woman his sister had described. She was nervous, talkative, and a bit clumsy, but she was also genuine, kind, and wonderful with Lily. When they returned, Lily was chattering happily about the magic sinks in the bathroom that knew exactly what temperature each species preferred for hand washing. Shakira caught Barton's eye and smiled, and he found himself wanting to see that smile again. Outside the restaurant, Barton prepared to say goodbye, to thank Shakira for a pleasant evening and leave it at that. He'd been planning to end things politely from the moment she'd arrived late, but Lily had other ideas. "Are we going to see Miss Shakira again?" Lily asked, looking between them with hopeful eyes. "Well, that's something your dad and I would need to talk about," Shakira said tactfully, her wings shifting slightly behind her, a nervous gesture Barton realized. Barton looked at Shakira, then at his daughter's hopeful face, and made a decision he hadn't planned on making. "Would you like to have dinner again? Maybe something more casual next time. Perhaps we could take Lily to that new biodome park they just opened in the recreation ring." Shakira's face lit up, her scales seeming to shimmer with increased luminescence. "I'd really like that." "But Daddy was going to say no," Lily said with the perceptiveness children sometimes show. "I could tell you had your leaving face." Barton felt his cheeks warm. "My leaving face?" "You know, the one you make when we're at boring grown-up things and you're ready to go." Shakira laughed, and Barton found himself laughing too. "Apparently I'm very transparent." "To 5-year-olds, maybe," Shakira said kindly. "For what it's worth, I thought you were going to politely end things too. I could feel myself being evaluated and found wanting." "That's not," Barton started, then stopped. "Okay, maybe a little, I'm sorry. I was being unfair." "You were being protective of your daughter, I understand that." Her amber eyes were warm with understanding. "But for the record, I had a really nice time tonight. Lily is wonderful, and you're not as intimidating as I feared." "I'm intimidating." "Your sister warned me you might be guarded and skeptical about dating. She wasn't wrong." Lily tugged on Shakira's scaled hand. "But you're awesome. That's what matters, right, Daddy?" Barton looked at his daughter, at her earnest expression, and the way she'd already bonded with Shakira in one evening. He looked at Shakira, at the kindness in her eyes and the patience she'd shown with both of them. "Right," he said, "that's what matters." They exchanged contact information and made plans for the following week. As Barton and Lily walked to the transit station to catch their transport home, Lily skipped along beside him. "I like Miss Shakira," she announced. "I'm glad. Are you going to marry her?" Barton nearly choked. "Lily, we just met her tonight." "But you liked her, I could tell. You stopped making the leaving face." "It doesn't work like that, sweetheart. We have to get to know each other better first." "Okay, but I think you should marry her. She's awesome. And she knows about Princess Celeste. And she didn't get mad when I spilled the juice. And she has wings. Wings, Daddy." Barton smiled, securing Lily in her seat on the transport pod. "Those are pretty good qualifications." "The best ones," Lily said confidently. Over the next few months, Barton discovered that Lily might have been onto something. He and Shakira started dating carefully and slowly, always with Lily's needs at the forefront. Shakira never pushed, never tried to rush into a parental role, but she was present and consistent. She came to Lily's kindergarten performance where the children put on a play about the solar system. Lily was Saturn and was very proud of her ring costume that Barton had painstakingly crafted. Shakira cheered louder than anyone. She learned human hair care after Lily asked if she could do the fancy braids some of the other girls wore. It was touching to watch Shakira's scaled fingers, more accustomed to medical precision work, gently working through Lily's blonde hair while watching tutorials on her data pad. She showed up when Lily caught a minor case of proximal sniffles, a common childhood illness on the station, bringing specially formulated soup that was both medication and comfort food, children's books she'd borrowed from the hospital's pediatric ward, and offering to help so Barton could rest. Most importantly, she made Lily laugh. Their apartment, which had been quiet and somewhat sad, became filled with Shakira's stories about her patients, her dramatic readings of the Stellar Princess books, and her willingness to play elaborate pretend games where Lily was Princess Celeste, and Shakira used her wings to play the princess's faithful dragon companion. Barton fell in love slowly, carefully, aware that this wasn't just about him and Shakira, but about building a family. He watched how Shakira interacted with Lily, how patient she was, how she never tried to replace Eliza's memory, but instead made her own place in their lives. His carpentry work even took on new inspiration. He began crafting pieces that incorporated elements of draconian design, studying their traditional patterns and adapting them to wooden furniture. His first gift to Shakira had been a small wooden jewelry box with carved patterns reminiscent of draconian scale arrangements, but made with different earthwoods to create color variations. She'd cried when he gave it to her, saying no one had ever made anything so thoughtful for her before. 8 months after their first date, Barton asked Shakira to marry him, not in a restaurant or with some grand public gesture, but in their living room after putting Lily to bed, because that's what their life would be: quiet moments, shared responsibilities, building something together. "I love you," he told Shakira, "and Lily loves you, and I want us to be a family officially." Shakira's scales flushed with emotion, taking on a deeper, more vibrant hue as tears formed in her amber eyes, which made Barton panic until she said, "Yes," through her tears, her wings unfurling slightly with joy, a draconian expression of happiness she usually kept contained in human spaces. Lily, who was supposed to be asleep but was actually listening from her bedroom door, came running out. "You're going to marry Miss Shakira. I told you that you should." Barton laughed, scooping up his daughter. "Yes, you did. You were right." "I know. I'm always right about people being awesome." They faced some challenges, of course. There were still humans and other species who looked askance at interspecies relationships. Barton lost a few clients who didn't approve, but gained more who appreciated the unique blend of human craftsmanship and draconian aesthetic that now characterized his work. Shakira had to deal with colleagues who wondered if her career advancement might be hindered by her choice of partner. But for every negative reaction, there were many more positive ones. The community on Nexus Station was generally progressive, especially in the more cosmopolitan areas. The hospital administration formally congratulated Shakira, and the Carpentry Guild hosted a small celebration for them both. They married 6 months later in a modest ceremony that respected both human and draconian traditions. Lily was the flower girl and took her responsibility very seriously, instructing everyone on where to stand and when to walk. The wedding incorporated both earth flowers and draconian flame blossoms, specially contained for safety, of course. During the reception, Barton's sister Audra pulled him aside. "I told you she was perfect for you." "You did, though I almost didn't give her a chance." "Thank goodness Lily has better judgment than you do." Barton smiled, watching Shakira dance with Lily, both of them laughing as Shakira carefully twirled the little girl under her wing. Thank goodness. They honeymooned on Earth, where Shakira had never been. Barton showed her the forests that provided the wood for his craft, and she marveled at the natural beauty of his ancestral home. Lily stayed with Audra, but demanded daily video calls to hear about their adventures. When they returned to Nexus Station, they moved into a larger apartment that accommodated Shakira's need for higher ceilings and open spaces for her wings, as well as a proper workshop for Barton. They settled into a new routine, a blend of their separate lives into something stronger and better. 2 years after they married, they decided to expand their family. Given the biological incompatibilities between their species, they chose to adopt a young Myclean boy named Orin, whose shape-shifting abilities had manifested earlier than usual for his species, making him a challenge for his birth parents. With Shakira's medical knowledge and Barton's patient nature, they were uniquely equipped to help him learn to control his abilities. Lily, now 8, embraced her role as big sister with enthusiasm, helping Orin adjust to their family and teaching him all about Princess Celeste and her adventures. Years later, when Shakira was helping Lily with homework and Barton was cooking dinner with Orin, who was fascinated by Earth cuisine, their normal evening routine, Lily would sometimes ask about the night they all met. "Tell me about the fancy restaurant," she'd say. And Barton and Shakira would tell her about the spilled juice, the bathroom trip, and most importantly about a 5-year-old girl who saw something her father almost missed. That sometimes the right person is the one who's just awesome, the one who shows up even when they're nervous and late, the one who treats a child with kindness and patience, the one who makes a family feel complete without trying to replace anyone who came before. "You were my best wing girl," Shakira would tell Lily, using a term she'd learned later. "What's a wing girl?" Orin would ask, even though he'd heard the story before. "Someone who helps you find the right person," Shakira would explain. "And Lily definitely did that because I could tell Daddy was going to say no. I could see his leaving face." "Your leaving face," Shakira would tease Barton, "the most transparent face in the galaxy." "It worked out," Barton would say, pulling them all close. "We all got exactly what we needed, even if I almost walked away from it." "But you didn't," Lily would say confidently, "because I said you shouldn't because Miss Shakira was awesome." And she was, the most awesome, most patient, most loving person Barton had ever met, all because his 5-year-old daughter had seen what he'd been too guarded to notice. That sometimes awesome is exactly enough. As their family grew and changed, as Lily entered adolescence with all its challenges, as Orin mastered his shape-shifting abilities, as Barton's business expanded to include a small school where he taught traditional woodworking to students of all species, as Shakira became the head of xenopediatrics at the hospital, they faced each new challenge together. In a universe full of technological marvels, faster-than-light travel, and the wonders of countless alien civilizations, they had discovered that the greatest adventure was simply building a life together. One where a human carpenter, a draconian doctor, a wise human girl, and a shape-shifting boy could be a family. Not perfect, not without difficulties, but perfectly theirs. On the 20th anniversary of their first meeting, Barton presented Shakira with a special gift, a handcrafted wooden model of the restaurant where they'd first met, complete with tiny figurines representing them and Lily. Inside the miniature restaurant, if you looked through the windows just right, you could see a little tableau, a nervous draconian woman meeting a guarded human man and his perceptive daughter. "It's beautiful," Shakira said, carefully turning the delicate model in her scaled hands. "But you forgot something." "What's that?" Barton asked, concerned he'd missed a detail. Shakira pointed with a gentle claw, the blue juice stain on the tablecloth. They laughed together, and Barton promised to add it, because that spill had been the beginning of everything good in their lives. A moment of potential disaster transformed into the start of a journey neither of them had expected, but both now treasured above all else. "Do you ever wonder what would have happened if I'd gone with my first instinct that night?" Barton asked quietly. "If I'd said no to seeing you again?" Shakira stretched one wing around him, a gesture of intimate comfort that she reserved for their most private moments. "I try not to think about it, but I'm grateful every day that you listened to Lily instead." "So am I," he whispered, "so am I." In the vastness of the cosmos, on a space station orbiting a distant star, a family that had found each other against all odds celebrated not just their past, but the future they continued to build together. A future made possible because a little girl had seen past appearances and first impressions to recognize what truly mattered. That someone was awesome on the inside. And sometimes that's more than enough. It's everything.